All right, today is October 6th, 11 p.m. I just wanted to go over the price action today. There were three trade opportunities for us, and I'm basically going to go ahead and review all opportunities. I only took the opening opportunity at 9:30, but regardless, I do think that there were missed opportunities. Not that I needed to take that, but it is really nice to review those opportunities just in case. Um, you can look for trades, off those opportunities in case you missed the first one or whatever. And it's good always to exercise that part of your brain, visualizing these setups form, seeing them in real time, and seeing them afterwards, reviewing them, blah, 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 blah. So that's basically what this video is for. By the way, this video is specifically, obviously, from the title, you can see this video is specifically focused on ICT concepts through the lens of quarterly theory concepts. So we're going to go ahead and deep dive into some of those concepts that I use and how you can use them in live markets. So yeah, no news Monday. And we have a big news event on Wednesday at 2 o'clock. So what am I anticipating going into Monday, Tuesday? Probably a ranging type of day. Probably a day with not too many opportunities, but if there are opportunities, it's probably going to provide opportunities to both sides, right? Possibly a seek and destroy profile, etc., etc. So that's kind of what I'm thinking in the back of my head going into this Monday, without expecting too much of an expansion, without expecting too clean of a price action. So I'm going in with low expectations, and then I'm just going in with what the market is giving me based on the concepts that I use. So I'm just gonna close this. This was from Friday, but we're gonna go ahead and take a look at Monday. Actually, let me empty trash. We're gonna look at Monday. No news, October 6th, which was today. So here we have no bias, waiting for trade idea to form. This is the ES and NQ daily chart. You can see that we basically created an SSMT on the weekly cycle at previous day's high. And off of that, we're looking for a trade, right? We took liquidity on a major level and we're looking for a trade idea. So not only is it previous day's high, but it's also the previous week's high as well. So that's something important to note. Also, another interesting thing is, remember on Friday, well, I guess we didn't go over it yet, but Friday we expanded lower here into Thursday's low in this daily BISI, right? On NQ, but ES left Thursday's low intact, right? So knowing that this low, this objective is still intact. Why is this an objective? Well, if we take a look at the range here from low to high, at the midpoint of that, which is previous week's midpoint, Thursday's low is resting, and we have a new month opening gap. So not a new day opening gap, not a new week opening gap, but a new month opening gap on ES. So here we have the monthly open on Wednesday, monthly open here on NQ. We never traded into that also on NQ, by the way. So previous week's midpoint is still free game on both ES and NQ if we are going to get in sync. Now, that's just something to note as a key level for targets going to the downside. It doesn't mean that we're going to reach it, but let's go ahead and go into the next slide. So we're looking at the H6 now. Friday, we ended up creating this precision candle on ES, closing as an up close candle, NQ closing as a down close candle, and with that we created a precision swing point. How do I know it's a precision swing point? Precision candle, SSMT, right? We created a lower high here, a higher high here, right? Expands us lower in the PM session, and we close the week at or near basically this daily fair value gap on NQ, at or near Thursday's low here on ES. Okay, that's just something to note. Now, going into this week, how does that correlate to, or how does that relate to how we can find trade ideas? Now look at this. NQ trades into Friday's high. NQ is the stronger pair, right? ES fails to trade in a Friday's high, previous week high. Isn't that interesting? On this day, ES printed an up close, meaning it was stronger, and it failed to reach into Thursday's low. On NQ, it was a weaker pair. It closed as a down close, and it did reach into Thursday's low, right? Now, NQ met this objective. ES did not meet this objective. Now look, now ES is weaker, right? NQ is stronger. And ES is looks like it's trying to reach into this objective, right? So just something to note, how you can use SMT, how you can use quarterly theory, how you can use these intermarket analysis tools to kind of anticipate things, or at least watch for things going on. Now, things change after the objectives are met, right? Downside objective met, now NQ becomes stronger. Downside objective on ES not met, now ES becomes weaker. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so going to the next slide. What am I noting here? We have a weekly cycle SSMT 8 a.m. precision candle on the H1, anticipating 9 a.m. open high low close. Basically, I'm anticipating 9 a.m. expansion lower. Okay, zooming in. Oops. Zooming in here. Actually, I'm just gonna go into the chart. All right, zooming in here. What does that look like? Well, H1 precision candle at 8 a.m. We're anticipating 9 a.m. open high low close, right? A bearish candle. Now look at this. So NQ has this clear dealing range from London low to the New York AM high after taking this external range liquidity, previous week high. ES fails to take previous week high at the same time NQ does. That creates a weekly cycle SSMT between previous day's high and today's high, and potentially a monthly cycle SSMT between previous week high and this week's high if we don't end up taking this high here on ES, right? If we don't. Anyways, now what do we, in the way I trade, I look for two cracks and correlations. What does that mean? I look for an SSMT of some kind, whether it be a 6-hour daily cycle, weekly cycle, whatever. And then I confirm it with a precision candle. Generally speaking, that's my model in a nutshell. That's all I look for. You can find it on the hourly, the 90-minute, the 30-minute, the 15-minute. They all work. It just depends. But in this situation, we have an hourly precision candle on ESNNQ close at 8 a.m. So with that, we can anticipate a precision swing point forming, and the precision candle itself is always going to be treated as a candle number 2. So how do we use that? We use that by trading. We look for trades inside of candle number 3. So you can see the expansion occurs on candle number 3. Almost always, not always, but almost always. So here we take a look at NQ. Take a closer look. You can see we have this fair value gap here in discount of this range. And within this 8 a.m. precision candle, we'll find a way to get short. So now we have a valid trade idea here based on the precision candle and the SSMT. Now we just want to look for confirmation on the lower time frames to get short. We have this 15-minute SIBI. We have this no wick 15-minute candle right here. 9:30 opens right here. So right before 9:30, we trade into that gap, taking that devil's mark candle, and then 9:30 provides the expansion. Why? Because we already created the manipulation, right? And what are we looking at in terms of the open high low close on the 9 a.m. candle? 9 a.m. opens right here. So you can see we already created a protraction away from the 9 a.m. open. And on the lower time frames, we can confirm our entries. So this being a 15-minute gap, time frame alignment with the 15-minute is going to be with the 1-minute chart. And as you can see here, perfect change in state on the 1-minute chart. Closing, right at 9:31. Boom, there's your confirmation. I'm already short as market opens and starts dumping. Why? Because I'm confident that this high is going to hold. Why am I confident in this high holding? Because of quarterly theory concepts, right? So even with your stop here, even if your stop is here, it's still less than 40 points. In my opinion, that's pretty good, because if you're risking 40 points in your, let's say 3-4 micros short, that's not that bad. Right, let's say your risk is anywhere between $400 to $500. Let's say 400. Like, this would have been easily a 5 micro short with risking $400. So that's not even that much risk. Okay. And where's my target? My target is this hourly fair value gap here. So I'm looking at this hourly BISI inside of discount of this dealing range because it's obvious to me. And also, at the time, this candle had not closed yet, this up close candle. We had not traded, but this gap was still open, right? This 4-hour gap was still open. And that's something to note, right? Going into the close of this candle. And I'll go over all 3 trades for the day. And they happened back to back to back. It was actually super clean in my opinion. So anyways, all right. So we have this SSMT with previous day's high with ES and NQ. We have an up close on NQ. Now, actually, ES was the weaker pair. So we could have taken a short here on ES. And where did ES go? All the way to London low and eventually into the new day, new week opening gap here perfectly. And NQ trades into this gap here, right? So that was our target, and that was my trade for the day. So this is my exact setup today. I took this. My stop was basically here. After the confirmation, my stop was basically here. After the CSD here on the 1 minute, right? And my target was here. So this was essentially over almost a 4-hour trade. And we'll take a look at that here. That was the setup. And yeah, basically I closed a $400 trade here. Not perfect, but you know, I wasn't looking for much. I'm not sizing up today. I understand that today is a ranging probably type of day, no news day. So with that risk, my plan, I'm following my plan of taking small risk. I'm not risking $400, $500 on this trade. I'm risking maybe $200, $300 at most, right? So that's the short that I took. Now during this short, now we're creating the closure of the new 4-hour candle. So of the current 4-hour candle. So we're heading into a new 4-hour candle at 10. And let's take a look at the 5. So the 5 minute, right? We actually create a 5 minute CSD right there. Perfectly retest that as a immediate rebalance, leaving no imbalances. And then off of that, boom, all the way down here, taking out these equal lows, right? So to me, this is a perfect setup, perfect scalping setup, right? Nothing like a huge daily range, like over 100, 200 points on NQ, but we do get those, by the way, but not today. This was in anticipation with the news, right? With the economic calendar, we understand the potential of what's reasonable, right? Our reasonable expectations going into today. And that's going to save you a lot of holding trades for unnecessary runs, blah, 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 blah. And save you from getting annihilated, bro. If you have reasonable expectations, you take profits when you expect to, right? In accordance with your plan, taking off, 90% of your position where you planned to, so that when this happens, you're not fucked, right? You're not fucked. All right. Now, what happens is we end up creating a 15-minute fair value gap here. So off of this 15-minute fair value gap, we dump another 15-minute fair value gap here. And then what happens is, this is one way you can trade precision candles. Look at that. This candle is just shy of tapping into the precision candle at 10 o'clock. The new 4-hour candle opens here. Next 15-minute candle, open highs into the precision candle on the hourly. This is an hourly precision candle, right? From 8 a.m. And look what happens after that. Taps into it, trades all the way back down into the low. Why this low? Look at the 4-hour. The 4-hour did not close this gap. It created this gap, or confirmed that this gap was still open. So we had another short idea right off that. So that's where trade number 2 could have come in. And I almost took this trade, but I decided I'm all right. I'm just going to wait on the sidelines and wait for, another opportunity, because I already took my trade. But essentially, you could have taken this off the gap, off the precision candle, either one. Let's say you waited for the reaction off the precision candle, and then boom, you got in right here. Stop could have gone around this candle's high. And I literally almost took this exact setup. Look at that. Beautiful delivery right into the 4-hour gap. And if I drew the 4-hour gap, it would look like this. Right, so this was that setup right there. Perfect setup, honestly, really clean. And look at this order block here. Trades into it multiple times. This 15-minute fair value gap multiple times. Closes into that H1 precision candle. And that's the one. That is the move that takes us down. And what am I looking at as we approach the close of the 4-hour candle? I'm looking at the 4-hour chart, bro. So I already saw that we had this gap open, right? I already knew this trade idea existed. I just did not take it. Mean threshold of the order block. Precision, bro. This is precision. Timing, everything, bro. Aligning all together. So that was trade number 2. Trade number 3 is when we created that move lower. So ES already traded into the new week opening gap right there. So on this drop lower here on NQ, that second trade, that created an SSMT on the 90-minute cycle. Why? Because the new 90-minute candle opens at 10:30. 10:30 opens here. The low hasn't been taken. Boom. It gets taken. We already anticipate this because of the 4-hour gap. What does a 4-hour look like on ES? I actually never even looked at it. Look at this. So we ended up closing a higher time frame precision candle here. Right? And then following candle, retest the new week opening gap. Wait, that's the same. Wait, what am I looking at here? Oh, okay, so this, wait, 10 a.m. here. Okay, so what am I looking at here? Okay, so this is what happens. So 10 a.m. here on NQ trades up in the 15-minute gap, drops lower, and while that happens, ES drops completely into the new week opening gap there, and then rejects off of it with a strong rejection. In the meantime, NQ is still kind of ranging right here, and then the new 15-minute candle opens at 10:15. That's when you get this move up into this precision candle here. And that's the last drive here on NQ into that 4-hour gap. Now we get what? A 90-minute precision candle, or sorry, a 90-minute sequential SMT. And then you get a setup here. The 90-minute sequential SMT aligns with a 5-minute chart. 5-minute change in state here. That is your entry. Right there. Stop could be here maybe if you want. And then where is your target? 9:30 open. Or just go for 2R, whatever. You can confirm this idea on the lower time frame. And I saw this exact setup as well. But yeah, that was all 3 setups for today.